And I think you reinforced that with some of your comments. I have some concerns about the next 2 years in terms of our own economy. I think that our budget, even now, we've got some unpaid bills that we have to take care of when we come up with our new budget. Whether it's in transportation, I think we've underfunded transportation. In terms of the general fund, you've got education, you've got corrections, the prison system, you've got health care, you've got aids to communities, our communities. All of those were underfunded in this budget. There were deep cuts that were done since Governor Walker came into this. And I can understand why those were to be done to try to bring things into more balance. But it was done in such a fast way, in such an extreme way, we're going to be seeing problems in terms of continuing the adequate services that we need for the future. So I'd rather see a better balance in terms of how you're going to spend that surplus. I think we need to put more in the rainy day fund to take care of what I think is going to be tough going in the next 2 years, the new budget for the next 2 years. I don't know if you've been listening to the news. January and February is going to be the same way. Retail sales have been way down. That's going to reduce sales tax that we bring in. Stock market has been pretty erratic there in January. In fact, they call it the January jitters. I'm following investment folks because I'm concerned about my investment. And they say, don't expect this year or next year to be like 2013. You're not going to see, these great increases in the stock market. Things are starting to level off. There's even some folks out there that are saying we're looking at a correction that could be anywhere from 50 to 90% in the stock market. So I think I would caution you, and I know some Republicans are concerned about this in the Senate, and I hope you're one of them in terms of really taking a serious look at how we should spend the surplus. So I don't know if do you start that tomorrow with your session, or is that coming up?
Well, we've been talking about it since and this gets more maybe inside than you want to know, but we're in regular session, and now we're in what's called a special session. And the special session is going to be the focus on the surplus and on what we do with that. So tomorrow we're in regular session, taking up a bunch of regular bills. Quite honestly, it all happens on the same day in a sense. You're talking from one issue to the next and stuff like that. So the discussions and negotiations are going on, right now in regard to the surplus, and that's why, quite honestly, I wanted to do these timely listening sessions. Maybe the only, and I appreciate John's thought, and that's again, I think how I kind of frame my starting point is that I'm trying to make sure that we're, achieving my goal of tax relief, but we're doing it in a responsible way, because I don't want to get ourselves back into a $3 billion structural deficit situation. I mean, trust me, a lot of people supported what we did over the past 3 years. A good chunk of people didn't like what we did over the past 3 years, but and I don't think anybody would argue that it was a good situation that we were in. I mean, we had allowed our state government to live beyond its means for almost a decade, probably even longer than that. And then that forced the legislature to make some tough decisions that no one likes reducing funding to good programs. No one likes making those types of changes, but we kind of had to do it to get our fiscals in order. I don't want to have to go back to that. I want to keep a good track record of getting ourselves, being fiscally responsible. The one maybe helpful bit of information on that is that, again, and this changes because this is all estimated information, or maybe two things I'd share, is that the Fiscal Bureau, and you can look into this on your own, the Fiscal Bureau has a pretty good track record on their estimates. So under Democratic leadership and Republican governors' leadership, they're pretty good. I'm amazed at how good they are at their estimates. The legislature should be that disciplined. Sometimes we do more than what they're suggesting. So they're pretty good at their estimates. And then the second thing I'd mention is that to cover the $500 million, we're not talking billion, the $500 million structural issue that could be out there if we did this, we would have to have our economy grow by about 1% in 2015, the next fiscal year, 1%. Again, if you look at like a 10-year average of state growth, we typically are at about a 2 to 3% rate. I don't think we've ever been down at a growth rate of just 1%. So I think it's a legitimate concern that we have to watch. But I think we've got a pretty good economic track record, again, even under different partisan control, that the economy just kind of naturally grows at about the 1% rate that we have to cover our expenditures that we're proposing. But again, that's what we have to continue to work on and make sure that we're balancing correctly. So,
Alex, I appreciate that concern. I don't want education and not the other areas I mentioned in the general fund to take a big hit like we did the first 2 years.
Right.
We can't afford that.
Yep.
The people are living under that right now, but there's struggles happening.
Yep.
And we
Well,
can't continue to have that go on and have another big hit.
Yep, let's go, is it Dave?